There are a number of really great ways to select colors in Photoshop, so let's take a look at a few of them and then you can pick your favorite. I'm going to start with the color picker from the bottom of the toolbar. I'll click on the foreground color that brings up the color picker, and then I can click and drag in the left-hand side here in this square in order to choose the saturation and the brightness. If I want to change the hue, I can use this little elevator ramp. There are many ways that we can look at color in the color picker, so if you prefer to view it by one of the other color models, we can just click in the little radio buttons by any of the different options. I'm going to leave it now set to hue, however. If you need to only view your web colors, we can invoke the only web colors. And now when you select a color, you know that it will be web safe. And when you select it, it also highlights the hashtag for that number so that we could quickly use Command C in order to copy that. If you need access to the color libraries, click on that, and now you can access things like your Pantone or your True Match color libraries. To return to the picker, simply click on Picker. I'll undo the Only Web Colors, and let's select kind of a nice purpley blue color, and I'm going to save that to my swatches by clicking Add to Swatches. I'll also add it to my current library. When I'm done, I'll click OK. It becomes my foreground color, but if I ever want to reset my foreground and background colors to their default, I can click on the smaller foreground and background color swatches or tap the D key for default. In order to exchange them, I can click on the double-headed arrow or just tap the X key. All right, let's take a look at the Swatches panel. I'm going to undock that and just float it here so we can see it a lot larger. I have my own custom group of swatches, but let's see how I would create that. In order to create a group to organize my swatches, I'll click on the group icon. I'll name this Pastel Colors and then click OK. Now there's already a number of pastel colors, so if I wanted to just grab these, I could drag them into this new group. Or I could click on one and then shift click to select multiple colors and drag them in. If I wanted to drag in one of the colors from my recently used swatches, I could click on it and then click on the plus icon, give it a name if I wanted to, and add it to my library and click OK. You'll notice that it's been added to that pastel colors, and I'm not quite sure it's a pastel, but I'll leave it there. Or I could show you that if you right-click, you can import or export swatches, you could rename the swatch, and we can delete the swatch. So let's go ahead and remove it. If you prefer to see your swatches as a list, you can use the flyout menu, and you can choose from a small or large list, as well as decrease the size of the thumbnails. This is also where you would import or export any of your swatches or access any of the legacy swatches. All right, let's put the swatches panel back and let's look at the color panel. I prefer to look at the color panel using the color wheel option that you can access from the flyout menu. Now I can select a hue as well as saturation and brightness using the color wheel, but then dial them in using the sliders. In order to save one of my colors as a swatch, I can click on the plus icon and it will save it not only to my swatches, but also to my current libraries. So let's take a look at my libraries panel. You'll notice that here are the 3 colors that I have saved. And while we're not going to go in depth into the libraries panel right now, one of the advantages of libraries is that they're stored in the cloud. So any asset or color or type style or brush that you save into a library will be accessible on any device that you sign into. You can also share libraries with others, and you can add additional content, including graphics and layer styles. Photoshop also has an extension, which is really helpful when you're trying to select multiple colors to use in a document. We can access it under Window, and then Extension, and then Adobe Color Themes. We can create our own color themes, we can save them, we can explore other people's color themes if we want to. But what's really nice is while you're creating a color theme, I'll start by just moving this center dot anywhere here in the color wheel, and you can see that all of the colors above here are changing. So I like this blue color here, but I might want to explore different color rules for picking colors that are maybe complementary or compound, or maybe just shades of the color that I selected. Of course, we can always adjust that after the fact, and we can bring down the brightness of the color here. Once I've got the color theme that I like, I can click Save, and it will save it to my library. Of course, we can also select colors from within an image. If I tap the eye key to select the eyedropper and click in the image area, it selects that color as my foreground color. To select the background color, hold down the Option key and then click in the image area. If you're painting, say with the brush tool, which I'll select by tapping the B key, and I want to sample a color when I'm painting, I can hold down the Option key in order to do so. So there you are, several very useful ways to select colors in Photoshop.